Can we just appreciate my shirt? Look at this. Sailor Moon. Hey everybody, welcome to the Blissful Stitch podcast. My name is Christina. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel and spending a little bit of time with me today as I chat about the crafty things that I have been working on this past week. Today is Sunday, March 17th of 2019, and this is a podcast primarily about knitting, crocheting, with a little bit of sewing thrown into the mix here and there, which that would be the case this week. I have more sewing bits to show you than actual fiber related content. I was trying to hone in a lot on my sewing skills this past week. Made quite a few mistakes, but I did make a little progress with a little hit for my children. But yes, I don't have much knitting or crocheting to share with you this week. I did work on 2 projects, but not as much as I'd hoped to. As I posted on my Instagram earlier this week, this podcast would be a little bit interesting because I didn't accomplish really anything that I wanted to since my last podcast. But I do have a couple acquisitions. One would be sewing, one fiber related, a couple finished objects of sewing, which a few of them are finished objects, but they're like messed up finished objects. I'm still a novice in sewing, so that means I'm still learning, which means mistakes are at their head. But yes, you can find me on the interwebs as The Blissful Stitch. On Instagram, it would be the.blissful.stitch. On Ravelry and Pinterest, you can find me as The Blissful Stitch. What are you guys drinking today? You know that I love to start my podcast with that. Today, I am drinking just some Starbucks iced coffee that you can buy at the supermarket. I just finished taking a nap, so I need energy and I need to power through the rest of this evening. What are you guys drinking? What are you guys munching on? Before we get started, can we just appreciate my shirt for a moment? I found this at Target, and look, Sailor Moon. Who doesn't love Sailor Moon? Let's just appreciate it. I thought that would be cute to show. But yes, I am thoroughly enjoying my Sailor Moon t-shirt today. And I figured I'd keep it on for the podcast. Why not, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. But first, let us have our sip. And again, grab a snack, whatever it is you're munching or drinking on, and we'll get started. Okay. So I will show my first finished objects with the sewing. I made these cute little lavender satchels for my girls. How cute. This one's for my oldest and this one's for my youngest. And they're just little pillows that are filled with lavender. It smells so, so good. Oh, I was just blown out there for a moment. Yeah, I'm blowing out when I do that. It's weird. But yes, they're little lavender pillows that I made yesterday morning for my girls. And I also made 2 extra ones, one for my mom, one for my sister. And I saw the idea on Pinterest as little, lavender satchels. And I figured my girls have a hard time sometimes falling asleep, especially my oldest. Sometimes she just gets anxious and she takes after me in the sense of thinking about too much stuff. So I figured this would be perfect for her and my little one, that when they go to sleep or they're having a hard time resting or feeling relaxed, they can just have this on their bed and just smell the lavender so it can soothe and calm them. I got the lavender off of Amazon. It was a 4-ounce pack, which I thought I was going to have less than what I got. I didn't realize how much I was getting, but yet it did go so fast. So just filling these 2 pouches and the one for my mom and my sister left me with only a little bit, which I kind of wanted to save for tea. I want to steam it. What's the word for it in tea? Steaking? Brew it. I guess I'll just say brew. I wanted to brew it for some tea and have some really natural and fresh lavender tea and see how that works out. But this will be my first finished object. Again, they're little lavender pillows. And as you can see here, complete novice in me, it's hard for me to get things lined up the way that I want them to be. In this case, it doesn't look bad. It actually looks really cute with the yellow poking out on the outside. If you hear a dog, that's outside. Sorry. But I do like the yellow peeking out on the outside. I didn't mean for it to be that way, but that's the way that it did. I didn't follow a pattern. I just applied the knowledge that I know when it comes to sewing right now and just figured I can kind of wing it. You know me, I dive into things. I try to figure it out myself. And this is what I came up with. Cute, right? With a little ruffle here. So my girls love it. My little one constantly walks around with it on her nose, loving the smell of it. But that would be my first finished object to share with you. My next finished object, I guess I'll show you, is this project bag. Isn't that nice? So I have the llama fabric print. I wish I was able to show more of the llama fabric, but with my next finished objects I'm going to share with you, you'll understand why I didn't have much left to work with on this little bag. But I just have a plain gray zipper, and the inside I really liked this pop of blue, which is just like a florally type of blue pattern. I really liked the blue for the bag, and I originally had made a blue keyring holder for the side, but I don't like the way the blue from the lining looked on the outside. I really much preferred the bag without the blue keyring holder. So I just snipped it as close as I can. You can't really tell when I'm holding it like this, but when you flip it to the side, you can see. If I would have ripped it back, it just would have ruined the whole bag. So I just cut it as close as I could to the fabric. But this is what I came up with. This little project bag. Super cute. I love this fabric up top because it's the sun coming in through the window is kind of blowing it out, but it's like a sheeny pearlish type of white fabric, and again with the llamas. So yeah, this will be a finished object that I did this week. So let's go ahead and go into a funny story before I show you another finished object. This week I just wanted to sew more than anything, more than knitting or crocheting. I just kind of really wanted to hone onto the sewing skills and just kind of get my line work perfected and just getting, you know, different techniques down to making bags. So one of the projects, what I really wanted to make was a tote bag. And a tote bag using the llama fabric that I've just been loving. So with my first bag that I made, the tote bag, I was trying to follow a pattern. And as I'm following the pattern, I'm realizing, okay, I'm not catching on to this. It's not making sense to me the way that it's being explained. As I mentioned before in the past, I am more of a visual learner, so I learn a lot better when I see things being done rather than just reading it or hearing it. So the pattern that I was trying to follow was a written pattern that I've gotten from Pinterest for like a really simple, easy tote bag. And I wasn't clicking with the pattern. After a few steps, I'm like, okay, I'm not understanding what she's asking to do. So I would say a little more than halfway, I realized I'm making mistakes left and right. I'm not understanding this. I made the biggest mistake. I can't even turn it inside out. So I just kind of took out a lot of the stitches and I tried to just do it on my own. I didn't look at another pattern. I just figured I'm going to try to do this by myself. And I did. and I finished it, but with a ton of mess ups on it. Like, it's just not professional looking at all in the slightest. You can see some of the top stitching at top. I think I just got frustrated, and I just didn't even care about making things straight. It was already getting late. I wanted to put the sewing machine away, but I could not put it away until I finished something. As you can see on the inside, I tried making a pocket out of the llama fabric as well, but you can just see how not well done this was at all. I am so disappointed in myself with this. And as you can see, you know, the handles, oh, I'm not proud of this bag at all. But this was my first attempt for the tote bag. So now moving on to day 2 of trying to make a tote bag, I said I'm going to find a YouTube tutorial on making a tote bag, a simple tote bag, and I found the perfect tutorial. Everything was just explained crisp and clear. Everything was just super easy for me to follow, and I did realize how important this week pressing is when it comes to sewing. Pressing every step of the way, pinning, and just really taking your time as you're sewing, and not just letting the fabric go through, but just, you know, taking your time pressing on the pedal. But more than anything, realized the importance of pressing in your sewing. So I finished the bag. I did everything down to a T. Everything looks professional. Everything looks perfect. But then lo and behold, when I am finished and I turned everything inside out, I made my bag, but the fabric is upside down. Seriously? Really? I had this sitting, so that's why it's not as crisp as I had it. But this one came out so much better. I took my time on my stitching. I took my time pressing every step of the way. I found out how to professionally do a pocket, which I did a jean pocket in this one to match the handles. And I just did pink on the inside. I mean, everything came out perfect. There was no top stitching on this one, but everything was just crisp, perfect. And then I found out that right at the end, when I flipped it inside out, my fabric was upside down. Novice, rookie, newbie mistakes. But what can you do? It's all a learning process. So I gave up on the tote bags, and that's when I made this project bag with whatever remnant of fabric left I had of the llamas. So that's my story. My little rambling of my trial and error this week with my tote bag making. I'm hoping this week I can make a tote no problem, because I would really love to have a tote project bag. But these guys are just going to sit in my car and be used as tote bags for food shopping. Just take them into the supermarket and use them. What can you do? Whatever. They're not perfect. It's all right. We'll live, right? So my next finished object would be another mistake that I did. I finished a project, but again, another mistake. But I'm giving myself the still a little pat on my back, because it is not a traditional project bag. It is a triangle project bag. And I was really intrigued by the triangle bag. I made a couple of small ones for my girls in the fall time when I first started sewing. I made a couple of small ones for my girls just so they can hold like little chapstick or coin change or whatever. But it wasn't until I saw a podcast from Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, and she had gotten a project bag that was a, oh, I'm trying to get away from the light from my window, a project bag that was triangle shaped. And I said, no way. for it to be a big one, you could totally put a sock project in there. That's awesome. So with this one here, I followed a pattern and I did quilting on it. As you can see, the fabric is nice and quilted. The inside, I did this fabric, this gray fabric with some nice, I can't even read what the words say on here. It's really unreadable unless it's not English. But yes, I have that on the inside, and I did put the key or the keychain holder up top. I'm not sure if it belonged up top or at the bottom, so that might be an extra fudge to this project. But my main thing was the fabric was upside down again on this one. So clearly my problem this week was getting my fabrics to be laying the right way. So yeah, I was upset about that the fabric was upside down. So I told myself I'm going to refrain from any type of animal print or any type of print that I really have to focus on it being the right way. That was my problem this week. But that would be another finished object to share with you. So that's all my finished objects to share with you guys today. So let's go ahead and jump into what I've been working on as whips this past week. Let's have another sip. Okay. So we are jumping into this project bag. And what got a little bit of love here this week is my Raina shawl. I am almost done with this guy. I have about a pattern repeat and a half left, but I'm really trying to get this down to the wire. It is desizing a little bit. It was a lot bigger, but I plan to finish the yarn with this project. I switched it onto bigger needles, and this is my Raina shawl so far. So pretty. The last time I spoke with you guys, I had just started this garter stitch section, so I was able to finish the whole garter stitch section. I placed it onto longer needles, so my needles keep hitting the table, sorry guys. What I have left to do on the pattern is another eyelet section and another, actually no, it's just one eyelet section that should be a garter stitch section, but I added more garter stitch to the Raina shawl. So I just kind of did my own thing on the pattern for a little bit because I noticed that it was becoming more eyelet than garter, and I kind of wanted the opposite. I wanted more garter than eyelet work on here. So I just, with the last two repeats that are on here, I kind of switched them up, if that makes sense. So I kind of just did my own thing really with the Raina shawl, keeping pattern, but switching things here and there to make it more garter than eyelet sections. But it's coming out beautiful. I can't wait for this to be done. It's gonna lay so beautifully. I just love it. And for this project, I'm using a CHOW red lace, 3.75 millimeter. But I can't wait for this to be done. It's gonna be so pretty. I love the yarn. So yeah, this was getting a lot of love this week. I spent a couple days working on the garter stitch repeat on this as much as I could. I would pick it up and work on it. So I got a little bit of progress on my Raina shawl this week. And the last knitting project that I've been working on is my colorwork hat. And it's living in my, Sandy by the Lakeside bag. So I had it in this bowl here, but I transferred it over to the bag to work on as I wait for my daughter getting out of school after work. So here's what I got so far. It's growing, but as you can see, the pattern is just getting weird on me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just like I'm just going with the pattern, or just going with the repeats in every row. But you can see it was kind of doing its own thing down here, and then all of a sudden it's just getting straight lined. The color work. I don't know what I did wrong, but I will still wear it. It doesn't really bother me that much, but I'm just kind of getting the hang of it. Again, it's my first Fair Isle color work knitting, so of course I'm gonna mess up on it, but it'll be perfected. But this is what I have so far. I'm using the Knitter's Pride Carbons in US 9. I have my little stitch marker here from Hobby Lobby. It's just a skein of yarn that says yarn on it, and that's so cute. So yeah, and I'm using the Caron Pantone X yarn in the black colorway, and the purple is called Purple Mist. So that's what I got so far. I picked this up a few times as I was waiting for my daughter to be dismissed from school. So again, don't know what's going on with the pattern up here, how it just started to go in a straight line. If you guys have any idea what I'm doing wrong on here, if you can comment below, that would be great. But yeah, that's what I got so far. So that's the only 2 knitting things that I've been working on this week. Like I said, I was more so honing in on sewing this week, which took an unexpected turn. I wanted to accomplish a lot more when it came to the fiber arts. There are things that I'm still trying to finish up. But yeah, I think I needed to just take a break, especially from sock knitting. I think it was just getting too monotonous for me, and I needed a break from the fiber arts and just kind of really tackle sewing. Again, sewing has become and creeped into my life as something that I do really, really enjoy. I do want to make more home decor type of stuff and things that we can use at home. I'm really looking forward to making a heating pad, but I will talk more about that in chatter. Right now we can jump into the acquisitions. I only have 2 acquisitions to show you guys this week. One would be the Felici yarn. I did order double of this one. As you remember, last week I had ordered Material Girl right over here, but I didn't get 2 skeins. I only got 1. So I hopped on and I saw this colorway. This one's called Acrobat. It picks Felici. So pretty. So now I'm happy I have a pair to make socks. So the other one I have in here already, but I made it into one of those balls. This is the first time I ever put a skein into a ball. I think they call it the magic knot or something like that. If I'm wrong, correct me below. But yeah, I just put this one into a ball. It fits perfectly in here. So I'm definitely gonna have the Felici yarn sock project in here. So that's my first acquisition to share with you. My second one would be just a bundle of fabrics that I got from Amazon. And as you can see, the theme here, it's all just pink. So I got this one. These are all considered fat quarters. This one, and then this one. And these are the ones that I used for those lavender pillows for my children. For my mom and my sister, I used different fabrics that I had left. So cute. And this one. And this one. Since I am primarily working on small, like project bags, and again, different small things like this. I gravitate more to fat quarters, but making tote bags, I definitely need a yard or two of fabric. So I'm hoping to pick some up, excuse me, this week, so I can have a tote bag finished object to share with you. I need to master this tote. It's gonna drive me nuts. But yes, that is it as far as acquisitions, finished objects, and whips. I guess we can move along into chatter really quick. Nothing too much to chatter about. But keeping you updated from my last podcast, I had mentioned that we were going to see an apartment and that we were in really hopes of moving to a bigger apartment, but it didn't fall through. So sad. Not going so much into it, but pretty much the landlord just changed things around, wanted more money, and this, that, and the other. It just didn't work. So sad. I really wanted it to. We do need the space, but it's just not our time. God's perfect timing we can't mess with, so we'll stay here. Just invest in our home here. You know, spend more time trying to fix up our apartment and make it more homey, and you know, just invest here. Again, as far as sewing goes, I've really been enjoying sewing. I want to make heat pads for the house, for our muscles. There was cute ones that would go around your neck, or just plain squared heat pads using rice. I want to make one of those for the house, one or two. I want to accomplish the tote bag, and of course just make more project bags. That's kind of like the thing that I'm really interested in making, is project bags, and also little trinket things like this. I thought this was so cute, and my daughters really appreciated them. So just little things like that. I've been really and truly enjoying sewing. It's something that I do want to master a little bit more. Again, I'm a novice, so everything's a learning process right now. This week, I really want to concentrate on finishing my Kodiak bomber. I also did work on that this week. I just finished one sleeve, and it's right over there. I should have showed you guys, but I did finish one sleeve completely, so I have to work on the second sleeve, which really will be done in no time. It's just a matter about me sitting for 40 minutes and just knocking it out. So I have that, and I do want to complete my sock projects. I want to get them off because I have more socks that I want to make. I'm really kind of refraining to casting on things and putting things on my hooks. Again, I want to make those t-shirts, crochet projects using the ZZ Twist yarn that I had mentioned in last week's podcast. It's a pattern by Evelyn and Peter. It's free on her website, and it's like, it has bobbles around the neckline and around the waistline. It's like a crop top tee. I want to make a couple of those. I really want to make them for pajamas, especially. I thought they would be so nice to have. I thought it would be so nice to have some yarny goodness to fall asleep in. I thought that would be nice. So I want to make that. So there's a lot of things that I want to make. It's just about me finishing the ones that I already have and just knocking them out. So that has to be my goal within these next 2 weeks, is really finishing up projects. And I don't want to be repetitive on here either, showing you constantly the same things over and over again. I need to get them done. But also in the midst of that, just being a mom and a wife and going to work and still trying to learn new things. In this case, it's sewing. So that's it for my episode, guys. I'm sorry this one is not that interesting, but I thought I'd show you what I'm working on and the mess ups that I did this week when it came to sewings. Everything's a learning process, so I figured I'd show you my mess ups too. And yeah, I will leave it here. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I hope you're able to get a lot of things done that you want to get done, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.